Good morning, Squadron. Welcome to the On Time On Target a morning brief where we invest with fighter pilot precision every day. Have a great show for you today with the obvious development two developments. President-elect was announced this weekend. So, of course, we were kind of expecting that might happen. So that wasn't the huge surprise, but certainly the results from Pfizer and BioNTech this morning about how they do have a vaccine that through the initial trial at least was 90% effective. That has the markets rocketing higher. It actually has the Dow rocketing higher a lot more so than the NASDAQ, which, is mostly tech and some of the high flying names. So there's all kinds of ways to play that. And that's what we're going to peel back today. So if you're catching us on replay, please subscribe so you can get these updates on a daily basis. And if you want to join us live, we have a group of us to get together every morning. It's only $25 a month. Go ahead and check it out at OTOTnow.com. And with that, let's go ahead and get the show started. Well. So two of the three things that we were kind of talking about not too long ago, as far as what we need for the markets to move higher and to come out of safety move and go back into long mode, have happened. Clean election, of course, was the first one. You may not like the result, but at least the country is not appearing to be ripping itself apart or devolving into civil war in the next few weeks. So, overall, we can, build a base and move on is where we're at with that, the election. And then the second piece of that was, we needed a clean election, and then we needed a vaccine and stimulus. So great vaccine news. That does not mean it's showing up on the scene today, but certainly we are on a path to having a vaccine, which is very important. And then secondly, stimulus. Now with the potential for a vaccine and, projected timelines should be approved by the FDA in a couple months, maybe available to first responders, high-risk folks, that sort of thing, sometime early spring. Maybe out to the masses by summer next year, at least in preparation for next winter. All of that, now we can sit down and kind of put a timeline to it. And how that ties back to now stimulus is when you go and have that stimulus discussion now, instead of saying, this is round two of an unlimited number of rounds of stimulus. We are now at the point to where, maybe this is the last set of stimulus we need to kind of get back where we're going. So anyhow, that's why the markets are screaming higher, and we will get into that a little bit. So, all right, over to our briefing board here. All right, make sure you have your chat window and your Q&A window open with appropriate stuff set up so we can communicate with each other. Our disclaimer, standard, is the financial education presentation, so you must do your own due diligence where you act on anything that you hear me talk about this morning. All right, our mission objectives today: grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Well, we talked in the past couple of days since last Tuesday when the election took place that we were kind of switching from that protect our money to grow our money. Well, I tell you what, it is 100% grow our money right now, age appropriate. But you can expect to see me. I was flipping portfolios long last week. I hadn't touched the 401ks or the 529s. Today is basically a flip the switch. We can go back long. That doesn't mean it's going to go straight up. There's still going to be some sell-off periods where, when the Democrats or when President-elect Biden takes office, there could be some tax things thrown out there, but it's not going to be the overhaul, the holy crap thought that we have. So split government. So it seems like, markets like gridlock. So we really are poised to continue a screaming higher market, which is kind of hard to believe. But That's how it's setting up. So you can't argue with it, and you have to go with it. All right. So tactical objectives after today, we're going to talk about vaccine investing. Obviously, if you've looked at the pre-market at all, there are 50 plus names that are up like 30% or more. I mean, holy crap, are there things screaming higher based off of this? This is the day where I will get snarky comments from people who are like, you told me not to buy American Airlines. I'm like, yeah, don't buy American Airlines and hope they don't go bankrupt. Well, I don't know. They're up 30-35% today. So it'll be like, haha, the lady's pointing at the cat, right? And I'll say I really don't care, because that's not my type of investing. Enjoy your 30% gain. Don't go spend it all, right? Anyway, so vaccine investing in election 2020. This is the last time I use election 2020 as kind of the theme, because we just got the results are in. The country has declared a winner. Yes, there are lawsuits out there. There are all kinds of divisions still that are going on to argue about who won, who didn't. Let all that take place. As far as a professional investor, you accept the results and you move on. I think there's less than a 1% chance that any election result gets reversed. So we're moving forward with the information we have and making the best of it, right? And forecasting, what are the investable themes, of which there are 4, which I will go on. That's what I'm going to rewicker the portfolios into today, and then I will go public with it tomorrow. Obviously, if you invest with me, you want me to make your portfolio set up first before I start squawking, even though really not in the big picture, the whole world's not listening to me. But there are more and more people listening to me every day. So I need to make sure the portfolios are set and pointed in the right direction before I open my mouth publicly. All right. Question of the day is, how do brokerages make money? We've covered this a little bit, but I get the question more often than not. So I we'll talk to that just a little bit. All right. Our flow is going to be long, short, open, short, long. We're going to talk about the market review, go into the headlines, which are all going to be vaccine related. Long-term investments, we're going to look at the names that are screaming higher off of this. Pfizer and BioNTech are going to be on the move because it was their contract that led to this potential for the vaccine. American Airlines, I already talked about it. It's up crazy, up 30-some%. Cruise lines are up, travel, leisure, hotels, AMC. AMC. No, really, if you haven't looked, think for a second how much it's up today. Yeah, 79% for a company on the edge of bankruptcy. So remember that even though the market will scream higher today, what changes for tomorrow? Well, nothing changes for tomorrow. This isn't going to change anytime soon. The movie theaters will not be full this weekend. This is going to be a long time. So I think all of these, I like to say that why simply react when you have the time and energy to overreact, which is what I think the markets tend to do. A lot of that's algorithms and high frequency stuff going crazy that's driving that. But it's not time to leave your basic philosophy and take a flyer on a name that just went up 70-some% today that's on the edge of bankruptcy. No, don't do that. Kohl's is another one I threw out there, KSS. And then, of course, if you want all things value, the VALQ will be screaming higher today to the tune of a couple percent. So short-term scorecard. Our last week, we had Electronic Arts on Friday. It went down to 2.6R, or up to 2.6R as far as the actual trade, about 20 minutes after we were off air. And then it went all the way back to 0. So remember, I reset it to 0, so we didn't lose any money. It went all the way back and hit that, and then finished higher on the day. So good thing we did that. So if closing out the week last week, -3R, not a good week, probably the worst since June when I started doing this. So we're going to take a look at some things this week to have a really good week this week. All right, question of the day and all that, contingencies are standard. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the market headlines of CNBC, and you can see how crazy the markets are so far. So you see everything up in the green. Dow up over 6%. Let's do this so I can see a little better. 4.5% in the NASDAQ. And, if you looked about 20 minutes ago, hey, yeah, see, I agree with you. It would. I'm looking at Predator's comment there of, it would be nice to go to the movie theater. I was actually somebody was trying to talk me into going to the theater last night, sometime this week, to go see Karate Kid. Because, yes, I'm one of the 10 people on the planet who's never seen Karate Kid. And the local theater's showing it. So I'm probably still not going to go see it. But but at least it's good to have options, right? So things are screaming higher. The NASDAQ, though, is the tech names. So there's two reasons why the NASDAQ is going to struggle today. First of all, it's got names like Zoom Video and Peloton and crazy names that are way overvalued. They're valued basically on we're probably going to be locked down for another 3-5 years, the new environment, the new lockdown. Well, those names are going to be falling back to earth today. You can see our short list. There's several on there. What we're going to take a look at today. And then secondly is just sheer money flow. I mean, the NASDAQ is all the rage because it's tech, it's, high margins, all the things I talk about on a daily basis. But money flow, don't forget, money is like water. It has to go from somewhere. So if money's flowing into, American Airlines, where's it coming from? Well, it's coming from Apple and Amazon and some of these other names that are out there, which are all NASDAQ names. So you could see a day where the Dow ends up over 5% today and the NASDAQ ends up down 2%. It's like, what? That like never happens, right? But today is set up for it. We'll see. I'm anxious to see how it plays out. You want to talk crazy? So, Europe just went back down into lockdown for 30 days, which of course, we still need to take preventative measures. You heard President-elect Biden already squawking about we need to continue to wear our masks, and that's true because the vaccine's not going to be widely available anytime soon. I look at these crazy numbers across Europe, up 6%. Asia, not nearly as optimistic, which is more muted and I think a more mature response. And they're a little further ahead. Here are our numbers off of Friday, kind of a mixed day, but pretty low on the volatility, and that will continue to go lower today. Did see a huge jump in interest rates, huge meaning, almost up to the 1% level. Part of that is stabilization coming out of the election, and then part of that is the vaccine. Oil got a huge jump as well because now we can go back to making money in the oil business across the world because of the vaccine. Not anytime soon, right? But at least put it on the right path. And then, of course, what's selling off? Precious metals selling off hard. Election is over, in quotes. Yeah, it's over, but, except for the arguing. Basically selling off. So again, if you're in that stuff, you're in it for the election, you got to be out of it for the election. If you're in it because it's a long-term store of value, then you stay in it. So I'm not in it. So that's my take. All right, here we go. 90% effective. Yep, there's a task force standing up for the transition 46. If you saw that new hashtag out. Now, I will say from a market perspective, the number one thing that concerns me is who's the next Treasury Secretary, because we really had a pretty mature one with Mnuchin. I think he did a fantastic job. Obviously, the Federal Reserve stays under power of the Jerome Powell, Jay Powell. But who's the next Treasury Secretary, and is it somebody that's widely respected in the industry? It's going to be able to talk to Pelosi and McConnell and work with everybody that's out there. So that's the number one appointment I'm concerned about as the Biden transition team starts to form its cabinet. Yep, there's the COVID task force headline. I disagree. U.S. trade tensions won't be going away under Biden. Well, the tensions won't, but all of the hard-nosed stuff that Trump was doing, I think, will go away. I'm switching to long China tech again, so you can see that. All right, let's talk about the investable vaccine stuff. Initially here, Pfizer, again, this is where Pfizer's at. Pfizer is going to be on the move higher. I didn't see exactly how high pre-market. We're not going to ride this particular horse. However, it's not a bad investment. Forward P of 12, 4% dividend. There's lots of things to like here, just not my particular favorite. What we are going to go long is Workhorse got a big contract. So here's where Workhorse is. You see that we're going long Workhorse for the day trade. We also do it for long-term investment. Great entry point here. This is a contract, and it's not the Postal Service contract, which is the big one everybody's waiting on. So it's been beaten up because Trump said the Postal Service contract is delayed. Well, Trump's effect in the world is dwindling by the day, right, as he finishes out his term. So we'll see where that goes. Okay, let's go over to the Schwab board, and we'll take a look at the rest of the investments. So you have Pfizer, BioNTech is the other one. That's again a German firm. It's the other half of the vaccine crew. Here's your American. It is up, up to close to $15 pre-market. You can't touch something like that. But if you're the value investor that got in it and stuck with it, then good on you. You've made some money. Same thing with Carnival is going to be up big based off of the news. Kohl's, people getting out and shopping again, going to be up big on the news. And then ValQ, it's kind of your overall value. Money flow has really been money going into this. So that's why it's already been on the move, and it's going to see some more love today. All right, as far as our day trades, we'll talk to you about workhorses are only long we're going to look at. There's literally 100 longs out there. Pot stocks, Aurora Cannabis beat earnings up 31%. AMC 72%, EPR 32%, Carnival 29%, American 24%. Workhorse we have right here listed. This is why I like it as the entry point. 1729, it's going up to 18, got plenty of volume. So it's really perfectly set up, and it's got a nice juicy headline for it to go with it. So it's kind of the perfect long, if you will, and at a price point where we can hop in at 20 cents or so to be able to trade this thing. If we're looking short, a few names we'll take a look at is Peloton. This thing has been through the roof, closed up here at 125, down at 108 right now. Plenty of volume. Bunch of people will be selling out of this today. So I do like shorts even normally on a big up day, you don't touch a short, but this is certainly a money flow out of Peloton. So that's a name we will keep an eye on short if you're inclined to go short today. And the short names move a lot faster than the long names. All right. Wayfair is another one that's selling off hard, plenty of volume. 300 down to 267, a little more choppy of a chart, so it's got a little more to fall, which is why I like this one. Doesn't really have a headline that goes with it, but it's certainly set up to drop. Zoom is another one that is, you could argue it's way overpriced. It's kind of tough to trade at a $500 point, but 500 down to 425. So excuse me. So that's what 50, that's probably 15%. That's already fallen 15%, so we can't really use that one because it's gone too far already. And then the last one's good old Netflix. Sit at home, Netflix, and chill. Netflix is in trouble, not in trouble, but Netflix is finding it harder to find new content. Anyway, excuse me. Get some water here. All right, 515 down to 485. So it's a strong name, but you can certainly consider shorting it. All right, let's go over to our trading platform. You see 4 screens in front of you now. This is Think Pipes. See pipes up there at the top. Just got a big move down in the market. We shall see. This is the SPY off to the left. Have Workhorse. This is our long. And then our 2 shorts set up here with Peloton and Wayfair. And again, liking kind of where Wayfair's sitting here to go down, but realize don't forget you're going to have a $1 stop here and probably a $3 stop over at on Wayfair. All right, setting some stuff up here for myself as we go into, we have 45 seconds or so. So getting some things taken care of here on my screen. Okay, 30 seconds to go to the market open. Welcome to the on time, on target play of the day. We have 4 screens in front of you. We have the SPY on the left. That is a 1-minute chart, and we're 1-minute charts across the board. The Dow's up huge. The NASDAQ is about even going into today off of the vaccine hopes. We have Workhorse. That's our long. Again, new contract, about a 20-cent stop is what we're looking for there. Peloton and Wayfair are both these stay-at-home names that are now going to be shorted today. There's our opening bell, so we'll go ahead and start zooming in. I like Workhorse long first. That's what I'm going to take a look at, and then switch to the short names on a secondary basis. All right, 14% here, 17%. These things might just fall like a rock, and if that's the case, we will just have to admit that we missed them, because I'm not going to hop into Peloton here. But it's kind of fun to watch. Check that out. All right, back to our long. Zoom out here a little bit. So I want to take it long at 18. So I'm just making a note to myself here. We're going to go long Workhorse And the 35-cent stop. Okay, let me zoom out here, get zoomed back in. Long at 18 with a 30-cent stop. So 30-cent stop on Workhorse, WKHS. Do math as to however many shares that equates for you. And wait for it to hit 18. If it doesn't hit 18, we're not going in, but if it hits 18, which is right here, then that's where we're going to take it along. And again, the contract is the new, is the reason we're in this. All right, so we will be patient and wait for that to give us an entry. Wow, Peloton down 22%. That's crazy. Wayfair stopped falling. Let's take a look at some of the other shorts that we had out there. Let's look at Zoom. Zoom down 17%, basically falling like a rock at the open. And then the other one was Netflix. Wouldn't imagine that one fall as hard just because it's such a strong name. So market continuing in the red. I'm looking at another screen now. Dow's still up 5%, NASDAQ up over 1%, and SPY's down 3.6%. So you're going to see some profit taking, which is basically what we're seeing here. I still like Workhorse long. We got to be a little more patient for it. And we need to see it recover. Obviously above 18 is where we're going to take it. All right, let's see Netflix. Let's go back to Peloton and see how Peloton's doing. Wow, $10 move right there in the first basically minute or 2 minutes. At the end of the second minute, it was that $10 move from the open. That is crazy. All right, Workhorse not getting any love. Let's take a look at some other names out there. Apple was down earlier. I think that's more of a money flow thing. So now money's flowing back into Apple. That's a good sign. Check out Amazon. Amazon down 5%. As long as it holds 3,000, I'm not even concerned. Probably do some more buying of Amazon here today. There's people that will short Amazon here. It's like, you're crazy. That's way too strong of a name to short, in my opinion. All right, our Workhorse is not going along. Let's take a look at some other names while we wait for it. I would imagine there'd be profit taking in some of the names that came up. There's American. Let's look at Carnival. Wow, 40% on Carnival. That's just kind of crazy. And yeah, Workhorse is in the red, so this is busted. We can't take that trade here. Now you can take as long-term investment. I kind of like that idea, but not as a trade. So it looks like no trades today. All right, let's see. I was going to look at AMC. Yeah, it was up 72% up here. And look at the move down since it opened. So opened here at call it 4.25, down basically 50 cents. That's over 10% in the open since it opened. That's kind of crazy. All right, and the other one's Aurora Cannabis. I wanted to look at the pot stocks that have been on fire. I'll show you that by backing this out to a 5-day chart. So look at this. So here's Aurora Cannabis down at $5, and basically pre-market today was up at 16. So pretty crazy move up in the pot stocks. And again, that's one of the 4 investments that are out there that I'm looking for. All right, let's check our favorite Luckin before we go around the world. Hey, nice move up in Luckin. Gapping up from 5 all the way up, opens at 516 on thin trading, and then touching 5.25. I like that. Oh, another name to take a look at is Palantir has been on fire, up 50% now since not quite 15%. Remember 10 who touched $15 earlier. Remember the direct listing was at 10. So a lot of us got our initial shares right at 10. I added around the 11 range. For some folks, I added when it fell below 10. Mostly though, I added in the 11 range, and I said I'd be willing to play 20 for this. So anyhow, this is a good long-term name, and it's finally seeing some love that it deserves for the company that I think it is. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at what else is on the move. Delta Airlines up 22, coal 17, energy's up 16%. That's optimistic. Boeing's a name a lot of us have out there. Again, I like Boeing for multiple ways to win: defense as well as civilian airline. DXC up 14%. MasterCard, Canopy Growth, that's a pot name. PPTY, that's a name you'll start seeing some more. I'm moving out of individual real estate investment trusts like Realty Income. I'm moving into this PPTY. It's an index fund which has all of them, which is a little bit safer. So Blackstone Mortgage, Raytheon getting some love. Callaway Golf up 10%. Visa up 10%. I mean, crazy names up 10%. All right, let's take a look at the downside. So Camping World Holdings, the thesis that we're going to go out and socially distance and camp more, kind of fallen out of favor today. So that's why it's selling off. Northwest Bio, Take-Two Interactive, Netflix, Twilio, Clickstream, ATVI, Electronic Arts. So the video games, now that we can, with the vaccine, we'll be able to get out and socialize again, is the theory. So video games will take a hit. So there's some fairly significant names on the way down there. So, but again, huge move up. We're looking at the Dow at 5%. NASDAQ is holding 1% higher, and SPY at 4.5%. Okay, so never really got that entry into Workhorse, man. It went from up 5 to 10% to down 5. So there you go. That's why you just don't take it at the open. You might look at a Peloton and go, we should just take these at the open. There's a lot of risk in just taking something at the open. You don't always get that beautiful stripe down. There's things I will take at the open, there's things I won't. So, all right, let's go back to the main page. And I will talk about how brokerages make money, and we'll close out for the day. And I can get back to rewickering some portfolios long. Okay, so how does your brokerage make money? So I had a potential client, well, they're going to be a new client, I believe, talk to me this weekend in depth about, okay, so I don't pay anything to trade, and you don't have to pay anything as the advisor. I'm like, nope, I don't pay a dime. For two major, TD Ameritrade and Schwab. So that's kind of crazy, right? So it's like if I'm not paying them as the investor and you're not paying them as the advisor, how are they actually making money? And I'm like, well, that's a good point. So there's really 4 ways. So when you're looking at them right here, again, this is a brokeragereview.com, supposedly independent. And as far as I know, when I read this article, I was like, okay, I mean, it seems pretty unbiased. So with no commissions on trades. Now, if you get into your trade log, you will see that technically there is a very small fee when you sell a stock. So you can sell, and I don't know exactly how it's calculated, but it's literally pennies that you're going to end up paying every time you sell. So there is a small fee there. There's also another fee if you are on the pink sheets, if you will, if you're over the counter. So like a Luckin Coffee, since it got delisted off the NASDAQ and now it's a 5-letter, a lot of the 5 letters you have to pay a $7 commission on still, or $5.95 or whatever it is. However, there's some you don't. 10-cent Holdings. It's a 5-letter ticker. It's over the counter, but you don't have to pay the commission on. And I've never gotten a straight answer, but I do know for Luckin, you do have to pay $7. So you don't want to move in and out of it all the time, right? And I don't really do that anyway. But if you're doing this at home, you would want to always check your trade log to see if you're getting a commission. Okay, so there's very little income there. And if you remember how all this went down, Schwab was quite clever on how it took down TD Ameritrade in the bottom. So Schwab was the first one on the race to zero commissions. So Schwab announces zero commissions. Every other discount broker out there had about 24 to 36 hours to take their commissions down. Otherwise, money was going to move that will never come back, right? So Schwab goes $0 trades. If you're sitting at home as a home gamer and you go, well, why is my TD Ameritrade not going to zero? Well, you don't hear from them in 5 minutes and then you're gone, right? As you're now a Schwab customer. So two things there. So many people moved almost immediately from TD Ameritrade and others to Schwab. And then secondly, all of that you're looking at, it's listed first as far as the 4 ways to get income. Hey, it's Schwab basically they forced all the other folks to go to zero in this category and to basically brought TD Ameritrade to its knees. And then they turned around and said, well, we'll buy you out. It's like, pretty slick move, kind of brutal, pretty slick though. Okay, so there's commissions on trades, which is very little, if any. Their own mutual funds and ETFs. So if you go to like schwab.com and say, or put Schwab ETFs, they have ETFs for everything. Now, generally they're more expensive than what you will find through, your standard Vanguard. If you see a lot of if I use an ETF, I generally use a Vanguard or a Fidelity or a bigger name that you've heard of that has a much smaller fee. If you go through Schwab specific, then you're going to get generally a little bit of a higher fee for the same product, just to have the Schwab name on it, which parlays to the next one is portfolio management charges. So that's a double whammy. If you are with Schwab Private Client, you're going to pay, depending on your assets under management, either anywhere from 1.25% to 1% if you have a lot of money. But there's a double whammy because you're getting a higher fee than I would ever charge somebody. And B, you are getting put into, now when the Schwab Private Client folks set you up, they're going to put you in the Schwab Bond Fund, the Schwab International Fund. So there's kind of a double whammy there that you don't notice when you sign up and you're like, wow, that sounds good. Schwab Private Client. I'm somebody, I've got, $3 million. So I go sign up. Well, they're crushing you with some fees. You just don't really know it. And then various fees out there. I don't see a lot of these, and generally I ask for fees to get waived, or with a client, I might say I'll cover the fee if they won't waive it. These are the wire fees. We've gone down from $25. I think it's $17 now. That's a nuisance fee. I mean, come on. But there's little fees that are out there that they'll charge you. However, you will, if you're a trader, you can get hit with some margin fees. You are technically borrowing money sometimes if you don't have the account to cover, or if you don't have the cash to cover in your account. So sometimes you're into margin. So there's various fees that are out there. But basically, what's not on here is net interest margin, which is the fact that money you have sitting around, and we've covered that in detail, so I won't cover it again today, other than just the money you have sitting there in your brokerage account. They pay you a very small amount for it, and they can turn around and loan that out, if you will. With my Schwab account now, I have a debit card, I have checks, I live out of the Schwab account. I could actually get my next mortgage out of my Schwab account. I have one client that did that. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for everything, but they do make their money through doing things like that. So that's all I have for you today. Sorry we didn't get a trade in such a crazy day. Workhorse is now going back higher, of course, but it's still in the red on the day, so we can't take that. All right, so that's what we've got. Hopefully you like how your portfolios look today with so many names up huge, and Apple up a couple percent as well. And with that, we'll let you guys go, and we'll see you back tomorrow. Bye.